Windows updates can and does break things, but it's not broken. It's like that old thing where it says when something's not working right, you say it's not an error, it's a feature, or not a
Doug Bot
bug,
said,
it's a
"Hi, how you
feature.
doing?"
Okay, I got a story to tell there. I'm going to check on that speaker bot. Yeah, that's where. And so client calls and says this one feature that they use that's really, really important is not working. And symptoms just started happening about a week ago. Okay, so I'm thinking, well, all right, maybe delayed restarting the computer after Windows updates Windows update could be something else. So I connected the computer to see what's going on. And what it is that previewing of PDF files. Her normal workflow involves going to the file server, F drive for them, I think, and with File Explorer and going down a list of PDF files, and she needs to see the preview to decide which ones she wants to interact with. And she's getting this message that says this can be dangerous, and well, I'll show you the message in a little bit. It would not show the preview. So thinking things through a little bit to figure out what's going on, I did some Google searches and so forth, and I find out, sure enough, the October cumulative update did not break the feature, just a change of security strategy by Microsoft intentionally preventing this. Well, in the past, we just go into internet options and intranet and sites and tell it that this is a safe site. No, does not fix it. I found some other methods for dealing with group policy and registry edits. No, they don't fix it. I did not find any way to fix it. So I uninstalled the update. Boom, fixed. Then delay updates, defer updates for 5 weeks, which is the maximum, and deal with that problem later. Subsequently, I said, well, that's a Windows 10 computer. On the very month, October cumulative update, that Windows 10 goes out of support, do they change a feature that intentionally breaks a characteristic of working with Windows with PDF files? Could that be? No, I don't think so, because Windows 11 has the same problem. Let me show it to you. Let's come to this screen and then do this. And Windows key R, // BB Baby in the bottom left corner, 2025. That's because Big Beast Baby is booted on its 2025 Windows boot drive. Both my computers have dual boot. So I come to look at shared folders. I shared this folder just to test the feature. So it's the downloads folder. And if I go, let's see, I want to pick one that's not, well, it's not going to show anyway, it doesn't matter. But when you click over here, the message on the right, the file you're attempting to preview could harm your computer. If you trust the file and the source you received it from, open it to view its contents. Now she's getting the same message. I didn't compare word for word, but yeah, she could open it to view it. That's not good for her workflow. That severely slows her down because of the quantity of PDF files that she needs to go through to decide which one to use. It's just so good to be able to just scroll down the list and see the preview. But it doesn't work for Windows 11 either. So my thought for her when I rolled back the update was one of these computers in these boxes is for her. So we're about to replace her computer anyway. Surely she won't have this problem with Windows 11. Yes, she will. So thank you very much. And I found documentation that, yes, that is intentionally Microsoft decided a local network. Now, this is a peer network server. You know, my big beast and baby beast, they're peers to each other. So it's not a file server. So it's probably different on a file server. I'm wondering how many clients I might have with this problem. Probably not that many, because it's probably an unusual workflow requirement. There's a lot of features and capabilities in Windows, and a lot of people have very specific features that they use. Now, if I were to ask this person, what features in Windows do you use that you actually need to have? I don't think she ever would have realized that she needs to mention this one, or I never would have realized that I need to ask about this one. Do you need to be able to preview PDF files from File Explorer? I'm guessing that's probably pretty rare among my clients that that's a need, but each one of my clients can have their own specific workflow, important things that they need to function. And this is the kind of thing that I come across. Now, Greg M says it happens locally. Just this morning, probably within 15 minutes before showtime, I got the bright idea to copy one of these files over to my local drive to prove that it works on the local drive, and no, it does not. Same message, even on the local drive. So my deduction when I was working with her, that is because it's on, but on her computer, if she has the files locally, she can preview them. Yeah, I just realized that just now. She absolutely, because she scans files on her computer, local scanner, and it stores on her computer, C:\scans. She can go down that list and preview them, bam, 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 bam. But I can't. So don't know what that's about yet. Yeah. Tony Wallow has brought an issue to me this morning. We'll go deal with that in a little bit. Let's go over and say hello to the peoples in chats. Chats? Really? Doug? It's one chat room.
Read chat, please.
You're calling it chats? There was another one prior, I think. Greg M. It is under properties for the file. Yeah, if you want to go change properties for every file, no, that doesn't fix it. I mean, that may fix it, but that means you got to go do that for every file. That does not fix her workflow problem. If you're going to go into the properties, you might as well just open the file. There's an unblock option, right mouse, click menu and unblock. But let's go ahead and demonstrate that.
Read chat, please.
Come back here to this. Let's see, that's going to be check scanner, so it's okay to see that. And then properties. I haven't even looked at this yet. Likely under security, maybe. Now I should go look under what he's saying. Under properties for the file, there's an unblock option in right mouse click menu unblock. And then he says it's under properties. Okay, right mouse click, maybe show more options under properties. Ask Copilot. Nope. Let's go in here and look at not under properties there. Okay. Under properties. I don't think it means click on properties. I think it means it shows up underneath properties. And I don't think I'm seeing that here. If I go to show more options, unblock. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So give me something else. I think I might have some other exclamation mark C's to find. Let's go search for that. Did Chris Garrett ever see the trailer he was out requesting today? Is the difference between locally scanned to PDF and remotely sourced PDFs. There could be a difference there, and I haven't investigated that. So her, yeah, the files that are on her computer were scanned using her scanner attached to her computer. And if we, but no, she told me if she takes the files from the server and drags them over to her local computer, she is able to preview them. But where did that file originally come from? There's so many variations. I'm realizing more all the time. Greg M. under properties for the file. And that's
Read chat it,
Doug
please.
Bot. So now let's go see if you give me something new. The live was buffering a bit. Okay, I'm checking and I have no skipped frames. Everything's looking good from my side. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not true. Dropped frames, 227, 1.1%. So let me see if I can show that. Now I'm on, this is day number 1 of me being booted on the 2025 alternate boot drive on my computer. This is the first live stream. So I'm not sure if this button is set up right to show you OBS. Yeah. Oh, I see. I've got a black screen in my picture there. Okay, but if you come down here, let's see. Are you seeing that? I'm not sure if you're seeing that. No.
Read chat,
You're
please.
not. You're just seeing a black screen. I'll get to that in a little bit, Doman. So I can't show you that. It's just showing the whole screen. Oh, well. Yeah, I am seeing dropped frames. Not outrageous percentage, but some. So we'll go on. Well, let's do the right thing for me to do to check on status is to see how bad my internet connection is right now. All right, that's a normal kind of download. Oh, that's actually really good upload. For me to get that upload speed while I'm live streaming, that's unheard of. I'm usually down like 17 megabits per second upload. I think that's higher upload than I get when I'm not streaming in the past. Oh, I'm gonna have to check on that later today. Okay. Carrie Holzman, open internet options, local. Nope, done all that. Done all that. That did not fix it. Well, okay, I'll have to say I did it with the URL. I did not do it with the IP address. So I can try it with the IP address, but all the documentation says that won't work. What plan do you have with Comcast? I have the plan where they provide internet access and I pay for it. I'm not going to jump to that topic right now. Doman says, sorry, was late. There is a topic on MS Forum about it. Yes, I know that. Yes. File Explorer not previewing PDF files since 25H2 update. No, not 25H2 update. This is broken since the October cumulative update for Windows 10 and apparently Windows 11. And I'm on 24H2. So now I don't know that that was working before the October update. I could uninstall my October update and see, but my guess, well, the documentation says, yeah, the October cumulative update didn't break it, changed the security policies enforced by Microsoft. Yeah, that local internet, that's the way we used to do that, did not work. And documentation says that won't work. And hello, Carrie. Had the same problem. That's what fixed after the October, was that after the October 2025 update, cumulative update. and on a shared drive. And particularly if you're saying yes, then I'll go back and try it with the IP address. 24H2 Windows 11. Yeah, I'm 24H2 Windows 11 Pro. My client was Windows 10 Home, but it's documentation says Home or Pro, doesn't matter. Andy Windridge, hello. Hello, Doug and guys in chat. In a recent broadcast chatting with Kerry Holzman, you mentioned that you had an answer to a problem someone had connecting two monitors. The answer had to do with SIDS. No, not SIDS. There was two issues that I was talking about. One had to do with SIDS, and that was where a user was not able to connect to the peer server. Every time they tried to log into it, it said invalid credentials. That was fixed with SID. The connecting two monitors was a different issue, and that was where when I start up the computer and the image that was on the left-hand monitor, I wanted that to be on the right, and I knew this wouldn't solve it, but I just wanted to revisit the issue. I tried swapping the cables on the back of the computer. That does not do it. And the reason that does not do it is similar to SIDS, but it's because in the registry, Windows keeps track of monitors by their hardware ID or some kind of an ID. And it might be some form of a SID, but it's not the computer SID. It's an ID that is stored in the registry, and that's how the computer keeps track. So when you swap the monitor cables, that doesn't change where the images are. If you put a different cable on them, doesn't change where the images are. If you were to put in a different graphics card, I suspect that would not change where they are. If you shut the computer down and connect one first, start the computer up and then connect the other, do that in any variation, it was not my understanding. I haven't tested all these variations, but that still will not fix it. So you're making a comment there that I mentioned that I had a problem, someone connecting two monitors that had to do with SIDS. Is there actually a question in that? That's a comment. Read Carrie's statement. So let's catch up. Okay, I already read that one. Please try it. I'll try that. I'll try that. But, well, I could try that now for Baby Beast. Okay, I'll try it now with Baby Beast. Now then okay, no, let's go do that. Let me catch up a little bit. Applying the same restriction that they already had on files that could contain executable content. Unfortunately, you didn't have the time to show the answer. Do you have a link for the answer? Well, which issue? I don't know which issue you're referring to. Oh, I need timestamps. Here we go. And Andy, let's make you a moderator, because I know you're not a troll at this point. You've already you've already talked enough to establish that. Oh, we're 19 minutes into the show and he's already slurring his words. You don't know what I'm drinking. Oh, it scrolled on me, jumped on me. Carrie gives this. Windows Preview pane stopped working with October 15th, 2025 update. Preview could harm computer. Essentially, opening files takes a long time. Preview page, check files without opening, removing. Are they mentioning PDFs? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I don't have my red dot on the 2025 boot drive. Windows Update just broke this. The error message I get, the file is attempting, yada, yada, yada. Is there a fix? Cumulative update. Try this if none work. Preview pane, especially PDF. Set to pause of 5 weeks. Yeah, that's what I did. Yep. See, this is where I went, but I used the URL. I didn't use an IP address. This isn't about the IP address. Okay, maybe you're going to have to tell me what to search for within here. I had to make a temporary solution. It worked. I have to reinstall the entire computer after I get the spare computer. This one is going into here, trusted sites. Does he actually say use the IP address? Trusted sites. See, this piece did not work when I just put in the, actually what I did is I put in the drive letter F:\/ and then click to add, and it automatically converts it to the URL name for that computer. So file : / and then the name of the computer is what it would be. So this is somebody else. I don't know if when you're referring me to this link, which one of those that you're trying to get me to. Did you reply to the Windows 11
chat,
Pro
please.
upgrade? I'm not sure what you mean there. Is that an email you sent me or something? I don't know. I see the Homies Cub. Yeah. That's it. Trusted sites. Just type the IP range of the local network. Okay. So my network, let's do Windows key command IP config is probably 192.168.1. Yeah, duh. G. And then go Windows key R, control panel. Switch to small icons just because I'm more comfortable with that. Internet options, and then security, local intranet sites, advanced 192.168.1. What do you need to put? 0? That should refer to the whole network. Does it need 2 backslashes? It accepted it that way. All right, then let's go. I'll come up here into the address bar, do 2 backslashes, BB baby 2025. Enter. I think that'll get me there. Am I a liar? Did you lie, Doug? Windows key R, //, or did you type it wrong? BB baby 2025. There it is. Oh, it just took a while to get there. See, I haven't pressed enter yet, so it didn't go there because of this. It did that because of the address bar, but that took a while. So, whoops, got to be careful which ones I highlight there. No, that did not fix it. Was there something about that I did not execute properly? Did not fix it. No slashes, Carrie says. Thank you, Dow. My problem is that the Windows startup screen shows on my secondary monitor. This came about after I installed a new Intel Arc graphics card. So it sounds like what you're dealing with there is your primary monitor. Let's go into settings and display. I usually do it from the desktop, but I didn't want to minimize everything. So if I go this way, search for display, go to display settings, get on this screen, and then come to, this changes a little bit based upon what version of Windows you're dealing with. Detect, oh here, this one that's grayed out, make this my main display. I can't choose that right now because this is my main display. But if I click on one of the other ones, then I can do this check box to make this my main display. So you click on that and see if that gives you the effect that you're looking for. What you said is that your Windows startup screen. Oh, your lock screen. See, I was thinking you meant your Windows start button, but no, when the computer is starting up, the lock screen where you would click anywhere to get the password prompt, that's what you mean. Or you can get your lock screen simply by holding down the Windows key and press the letter L. Your computer will lock if you have multiple screens. That screen is going to have your startup, what you're calling your startup screen. I don't know if this main display option does that. I don't think it would, because at that point in time, you have not selected which user account you want. It might, so try that. If that doesn't do it, would swapping cables do that? I don't think so. No, okay. When you're at the lock screen, Windows has already opened the system parts of the registry, and that's where this information would be stored. So yeah, I think choosing that main display might solve it, but also there is, I got to take this off screen for a moment. There is a way to go into the registry and edit that. And I don't remember I don't know which AI I was using for that. And because I'm on the 2025 boot system, oh, yeah, it reminds me of another issue I have. Let's see if I can find it. What was that? That was displays. Now Gemini is the only one, I think the only one that lets me actually search the topics. Display port. Yeah, that might be it. Display port. No, it's not. Because I remember what that was about. No. Okay. Let's see. We're dealing with Gemini now, and Gemini can do on tools, choose deep research. Can you guide me how to edit the registry to change which of my displays hosts my Windows lock screen? Period. I am aware that the registry keeps track of the monitors based on some form of hardware ID. And I suspect that that controls which monitor displays the Windows startup screen, or otherwise known as a lock screen. Okay, now because I have deep research selected, when I click to go here, it's going to first come up with a strategy of how to search for this subject. And it can take a while to come up with that strategy. And then once I click the start research, it can take a while to complete it. But this, I think, is going to be fairly straightforward. It's going to be easy for it to find. So it tells you about what it's going to do. You can look at more to see more about its plan. You can edit the plan and then click here to start research. And that might take a little while. It said a few minutes, so I don't want to sit here watching grass grow. So let's come back and look where, let's see. So the Putting in that IP address did not fix it for me. You must add asterisk as shown. As shown, no slashes. Okay. Oh, there. Asterisk. Okay, because I did a 0. All right, so let's go try that. How quickly can Doug bounce from one topic to another and keep track of it all? Security, local intranet, sites, advanced, and let's remove that one, and 192.168.1. Asterisk. And then go back to my File Explorer, downloads, and let's see, that's user manual. So do I have to restart for that to take effect? Did I exit out far enough? Looks like I exited all the way to control panel. I've usually found that those changes act right away. Just as shown, no slashes. Did I do that the way he asks? I don't think I really paid attention to the slashes comment. Yeah, there's no slashes. 192.168.1.1.0. Yeah, so still no good. I am so close to getting this fixed to where I don't have to look at this stupid chat presentation anymore. Where I'll still get chat. I'll still be able to see chat, but just not through the native YouTube method. Oh, ChatGPT I've not been using very much. I just brought it back into my, I think I have it, Manus. Nope, I didn't create a tab yet for my default tabs for it. But it's back on my radar. Yeah, see, it just jumps like that. And I think I was at the final screen worth of chats, but hard to understand when I see that, when that happens. That intranet adding did not solve the issue for PDFs downloaded from external sources. Yeah, and those PDFs I was looking at were external sources. Refresh your File Explorer, all right? How long do you think it's going to be before we get Carrie to use the !C so I can be aware that he has responded? Still on the user manual. Yeah, no, that's not doing it. How about we close File Explorer? It's not completely closed, so let's go see if we can close it some more. Close, close, close. And then, yeah, here, still no preview. PowerShell command only blocks current files in that folder. Yeah. You might, I suppose, worst come to worst, if I come up with some way for task scheduler to do that on their server, but then what happens when they copy something to the server and it's not going to be, that command would not be running frequently enough to suit them. I don't know. It's as far as you and I know, Microsoft might back off on that. Because why? Why? The PDF file is already on my computer, or a computer that I'm telling Microsoft is trusted. Why can we not have just that local internet thing work? I don't care you saying that it works, but yeah, no, it's not working for me. Maybe you have to live in Arizona. Is that a thing? I don't know. Okay, I want to turn to Tony's issue, because it can also be a group thing, and it doesn't take long to present this to you. He sent me a text message this morning about an issue, and I responded asking for pictures. Can I have a picture, please? And let's see, I can actually show you this email because it doesn't reveal anything untoward that he hasn't already revealed. It shows his picture, but he's already revealed that because he's on this cup. Yeah, he is. Yeah, see, there he is. There's Tony Wallow right there. Good guy. He's been to my house. Okay. Yeah. As you see in the picture, I cannot go any higher.
Read chat, please.
And so you got it at the top here, scrolling to the bottom. Zvi, I'll come back to that later. I'm on this subject now. As you see in the picture, I cannot go any higher. It just refuses to scroll. I've tried a new mouse. I reset it to turn the thing on and off. Nothing happens. I'm stuck. Some of the homies last few days, but trying to help me, and they can't figure out this thing is the same problem. Now, I think if I just, well, I'm gonna show you this. See, I'm not gonna go back to the folder. I'm gonna just press this left arrow. I think that's gonna take me straight to where I want to be. Yeah. And this is also does not reveal anything. So he's looking, well, he's demonstrating this. It probably happens in other places, but he's showing me the apps, default apps. Out on the right side, there's a scroll bar. We can't see the scroll bar because his screenshot didn't include it. And the scroll bar, I don't think even exists down this far. So we're going to go look at that on my computer. But you can see he scrolled down here towards the bottom of the default apps screen. And what he's saying is he can't scroll back up. So I'm going to go press Windows key. I'll go default apps, get me straight to that. So here I'm in default apps. Here's the scroll bar on the right-hand side. So he's telling me that he can scroll down, but he can't scroll up. So there's a few ways to do this. When you move your mouse over to the right edge, that scroll box gets wider. Now I'm understanding that he can hold down his mouse button and drag this down, but when he tries to drag up, it will not go up. Or it could be the case that he's clicking down here in the blank area below that scroll box, and that'll go down one screen worth at a time. So if you notice sound recorders at the bottom here, if I click in this page down area of the scroll bar, then sound recorder would be right at the top, but we can't quite see it. If I go up one, there's sound recorder. So that'll go one screen worth at a time. If you're trying to count how many apps there are, you could count how many show up in one screen and then go down one page worth at a time, and that way be able to count them. Now, when we get scrolled all the way down, here's these other things. I still see the scroll bar, but I think if we wait long enough, that scroll bar will vanish. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so far away from it now. I better go type it again. Default apps. Spell it wrong, Doug. Yeah, let's do that because why not? So does my scroll box, yeah, see the scroll box disappears. So in his photo, we were able to see the bottom edge and that scroll box was disappeared, but only when I let my mouse sit for a few seconds. As soon as I start moving my mouse, that scroll box appears. Now, Tony, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can't scroll up. You said you replaced your mouse. You even reinstalled Windows, if I understood right. Now, here's what I want you to try. Watch this. Up arrow key on my keyboard. Let's see if I can prove this. Keyboard camera. Okay. Up arrow key on my keyboard. Makes a liar out of me. It worked earlier. Do I have to click over there? There, down arrow key and up arrow key. So now it didn't work the first time I went to press the up arrow key on the keyboard, because if your arrow keys on the keyboard will scroll up, number one, that's a workaround for you. Number two, that helps us identify that the problem is more along the lines of the mouse. But if the keyboard won't scroll up either, then that gives me the idea there's something going on with the computer in a weird way, since you've already reinstalled Windows. So up arrow and down arrow key. In some places, depending upon what application you're working with, up arrow and down arrow might not move the scroll bar depending upon the application you're in. Maybe it does something else. Now let's see, if I click on one of these programs, for instance, yeah, when I click on them, they actually go in place. But see how they're highlighting there? If I then do down arrow key, no, it's still scrolling. In some environments, your up and down arrow key might actually be highlighting different choices on the screen that you're working on. And also, if you watch the mouse on screen, you know that I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard because you're seeing that the mouse is not
Read
moving.
chat, please.
Carrie says, "Press." Look at that. He did it. He did it. Oh, okay. We gotta give Carrie points for that. He finally did the freaking read chat. So watch this. Carrie Olsman. I'm gonna give him that. And I'm so happy that he's using the exclamation mark C. And I just got this imagination. No, I'm not gonna do that. He did it. Oh, I'm just teasing. He knows that. Press the scroll lock button on the keyboard. And so here, the scroll lock button on the keyboard, do I have, this keyboard is one of these incomplete keyboards, you know, scroll lock. Don't see no scroll lock. We don't have no scroll lock. See, I don't see any scroll lock on this one, but coincidentally, I have another keyboard nearby that I can do this with. Because this is a real man's keyboard. Wait, no, white? It's a little girly, isn't it? But it's a full keyboard. And I have, oh, that's going to be upside down for you. I'll just do this way. Yeah, I got me a convenient, easy place to do that. Right here. Right here. Okay, so now there's a scroll lock. Come back to here. Scroll lock. I don't think that's going to make any difference here. Now, I'm not sure why Carrie was saying that. I suspect he was thinking that if I press scroll lock, then the arrow keys were not going to scroll. But my impression from this is that on this screen, the arrow keys are going to scroll always. Is my impression. Just this is my first time testing this, so I could be wrong. You know, but curiosity. Things, features, they function differently based on the context, where you are and what you're doing. I don't know why. What am I distracted with right now? I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't know why Tony chose to use that screen as an example, but I think it was a good example to give us. At least it's not pink. Yeah, so Microsoft can, no, I'm not reaching out to Microsoft. Isn't he using the mouse and the mouse was replaced? Yeah, he said that he replaced the mouse. Let's see. I'm just to trying to be a good boy. I'm taking that off screen while I go back to his. Oh, you know what? I only read you his email. He also sent a text that provides more information because the text came first. So I should read to you what he said in the text. Yeah, so here's his original message. Good morning, Doug. Well, good morning, Tony. I hate to. Now, this is 5:23 a.m. this morning. I was up, but I was not aware of the message because where I'm at, Verizon is just not doing the job for me. And I don't think it's because of cellular signal issues. I think it's because my cell tower is overworked. I think, maybe. Good morning, Doug. I hate to bother you at this early, but on a Saturday right before the show starts, but I'm having Windows 11 issues. I'm having on the sub menu at the page scroll down, I can't seem to go up like normal. I've changed mouse thinking that was the problem, but it still persists. I'd like to pick your brain on that. Yeah, the rest of it we don't need to go through. So it used to work for him. Going up, he's changed the mouse. It's a different mouse. Now he changed the mouse. Does that mean he grabbed another used mouse, an old mouse, and maybe it's the same model or the same style of mouse? I have experienced sometimes when mice get junky inside them. I assume the scroll wheel is what he's using. The scroll wheel might work one direction and not the other. As a matter of fact, I don't know that. Is this scrolling with the scroll wheel or with clicking with the mouse the way that I was demonstrating? I don't know that I have the answer for that because all of my demonstrations here was using the scroll
Read
bar,
chat, please.
but using the scroll wheel scrolls down and scrolls up. And I have found scroll wheels to be one of the most finicky things on mice. Let's see, the last read chat was from Brian. Tony was using the scroll wheel on the mouse when these problems first appeared. He replaced the mouse. Did you replace it with a new mouse? And the problems went away. At least that's what he thought. And he's telling me that problems did not go away. And somewhere along the line, he told me that he reinstalled Windows. Oh, I envy computer usages that are so simple that you can say, oh, just reinstall. Oh, I think I'm on the third month of this second boot drive on Big Beast build, and it's almost ready. Well, I'm using it today. This is my first live stream on what I refer to as Big Beast Build 2025. The other boot drive I refer to as Big Beast Build 2024 because it's 2024 and all the older stuff with all of the clutter and crap and the various anomalous symptoms. But I have an anomalous system in Big Beast Build 2025. I haven't introduced that yet. let's see, what did he say? I cannot go any higher, refuses to scroll, tried a new mouse, nothing happens. Well, the symptom is still present. Things happen, the symptom happens. Suck some of the homies, they can't figure out what's wrong. Somewhere along the line, he said that I thought he said he reinstalled Windows. Am I tripping about this issue? Where was that at? Oh, yes, it's in the text message. I forgot to tell you, it's a separate text message. I nuked it and paved it, and the same issue. So after nuking his old Windows installation, installing fresh, got the same issue. I'm thinking that both of those mice are experiencing the same symptom, because whatever caused the symptom on one mouse has caused it on the other. I don't yet know if he replaced it with a new mouse, or was it just another mouse that he had laying around that might not be in use because it had problems of its own. Maybe that problem, maybe other problems. We're not a cell phone channel. It's Verizon. I think I already mentioned that. So I don't want to spend much time on that. Okay. I'm going to check all of Carrie's messages and see if he's found anything else that he wants me to try. Because maybe he's put something else in there and did not do the exclamation mark C because he didn't want me talking about that again. I don't know. No, nothing more since the scroll lock button. I think I have some other things lined up in my stored emails for today, and I have a new issue on Big Beast Build 2025 that just blew me away. It's like, are you kidding me? This can't be happening.
Read chat, please.
I'm going first to look at that folder for my stored messages. Scrolling. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, it's Greg M. Greg M sent me a story. It's kind of long, so I'm gonna hold off a little bit. And the others were on Tony's issue that we're already talking about. And then that last, wasn't there just a read chat from Ken Stout? It was our understanding he used the new mouse and it went away, but then came back. Another possibility is the surface that you're operating the mouse on. Some mice are very sensitive to the surface that you're using. So try using that mouse on a different surface, like a desk surface, an actual mouse pad, a piece of paper. So try a variety of different surfaces and see if the scroll wheel behaves differently. Now you're talking about a scroll wheel, not a mouse movement. So the surface, I'm going to eat my words there, because the surface isn't going to have any impact on the scroll wheel. The surface is going to be about moving the mouse around. Now here's another thing. Depending upon the features of the mouse, this mouse, I believe I can press down on the mouse button. Yes, it just pressed down. I could hear a click. So let's go show what that does. And you've seen me use that. But let's come back here to this default apps. So if I use the scroll wheel, I can scroll up and down. But if I press down on the scroll wheel and the mouse did not change, oh, that's interesting. So depends upon where you're at. Watch what happens when I go into chat. If I move my mouse up and down just by dragging it forward and back, I get this. If I use my scroll wheel, I get this. If I press down on that scroll wheel, the mouse pointer changes. Now when I physically move the mouse upward, as though I was trying to move the mouse on the screen, it starts scrolling. So does that method work for Tony? Is there any drivers or software for the mouse that you're using that you could download and install, or maybe uninstall, as the case may be? Yeah, no more Verizon questions. I'm not going there. Dennis, did he remove it from Device Manager? I think Nuke and Pave qualifies for that. However, Nuke and Pave is still going to load the default driver for that mouse. So perhaps downloading a mouse driver for it. And it's entirely possible. See, Tony might ask the question, but it used to work. Why would it not work now? If you go look at the detailed explanations for updates to software, to drivers, Windows updates, you will occasionally find some things about what implemented a fix under certain circumstances, such and such symptom happened. There could be something that happened
Read chat, please.
among other software or even Windows updates that has caused a problem to that mouse, even though it used to function all right. And the device manufacturer is responsible for coming up with an updated driver. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they're not very prompt with that. And there might be some workarounds available where somebody has published on the internet, if you do such and such adjustment, it will fix that symptom. Now, we could do a little bit more with this, Tony, if you give us the make and model of those two mices that you're using and let us know if they are new or were they used. What else will we want to know? Basically, what I'm looking at is to go do deep research with one of the AI tools. So let's go see what that last was. Update on QuickBooks Desktop Pro 2024 from Amazon, probably Amazon. We'll be testing, by the way, my window's open, so I think you just heard the horn honking horn. Horn honking, that's right, honking. Either way, we'll be testing install on Monday or Tuesday. We'll hope to give you a better update on next Saturday or shoot you an email. Update on QuickBooks Desktop Pro. Okay, great. I don't remember. It seems to me there was some kind of question mark about that. Okay, but thank you. The group policy option, I tried that and it did not solve the issue. There's also a registry version of that. Scroll has been a nuisance on a few mice for me. Did I miss something? Yeah, that's the exclamation mark C. Then another thing would be to try that mouse on a different computer. I don't know, Tony, if you have other computers available. Okay, so the symptom on my computer, I'm not sure what state I'm at to demonstrate, is Copilot. Now, I refer to this particular Copilot as Copilot for Windows. And my 2024 Big Beast build has icons on the taskbar, one for Copilot 365 and the other for Copilot for Windows. Sometimes I refer to it as taskbar Copilot. That's a misnomer because I actually pinned it to the taskbar, I think. Well, I don't know. Windows might have done that through some past historical update. But since I'm on a fresh,
Read chat, please.
sort of fresh Windows 11 installation here on this boot drive, I'll just describe this issue. I'll come back to that later, Selden. But there's the MS365 Copilot and the Windows Copilot. So I'm going to come over here and launch it to show you the symptom. And this just kills me because the reason why I did Big Beast Build 2025 is because I had a few anomalous symptoms on 2024 and all that clutter of software that I've installed and no longer use. And I said, let's just get a fresh start. Yeah, because Carrie says nobody's ever complained about it going through all that, except for Doug, all of his crap. So if I go here to Copilot, if I go Copilot, this is the Copilot for Windows. It's not Word Copilot. It's not OneNote Copilot. It's not Microsoft Edge Copilot. This is Copilot under Windows. So I launched this and yeah, good. It's coming up on this screen. Okay, so hands off. Hands off. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing, no how. I got my hands off. I'm questioning myself if I have to click somewhere to get the anomaly. But I think it was happening just even by leaving it open.
Read chat, please.
Zavi says he tried everything from the link, no luck. Is that regarding the PDF issue? Okay, hasn't done anything. I wonder if it's fixed now. It was broken yesterday. Click in here. Now, I always like to change to
That's a
Smart
big 10-4.
GPT 5. He says yes. It was the PDF issue. Thank you for that update, Zavi. It looks like maybe it's not broken anymore. How do you feel today? This was totally broken. I spent freaking 4 hours on this, 3 hours at least, yesterday morning. And after a few seconds, it would close. It just close. Restart didn't solve it. Updates didn't solve it. Searched AIs for why it's happening. I asked Edge Copilot why it happens. It actually, wait a minute, didn't it say that it was a known issue? Let me go explore that a little bit. I think it said it's a known issue, so maybe Microsoft fixed it. And after a few hours into that, I thought, you know what, I don't really need this. I've got it on Baby Beast, and the problem just might get solved without me doing anything. So I'm coming over here to Copilot under Edge, because I think that's where I was asking it the questions. Go to three-dot menu, My Conversations. I have to look through these pretty slow because, oh, here's Troubleshooting Copilot app. Yeah, so let's make this bigger. Now scroll to the top and see it refreshed. See how that scroll box jumped down? It's because I go to the top and there's more up there, so it's refreshing. Now here's the top. So when I open Copilot for Windows from the taskbar, it opens for about 5 seconds, then closes. The behavior began today. Does this give me a date? Yeah, I don't think so. That's why for a while I was trying to remember to document the date at the beginning of the topic. This behavior began today. My computer had been shut down overnight. I have restarted a few times this morning, testing an unrelated symptom. Again, symptoms. I have not restarted it since discovering this symptom. Copilot launch from Edge appears to be working. Okay, so I have not restarted when I started this conversation. Quick issue. This is a known issue where Copilot for Windows desktop app crashes shortly after launch. The most common fixes are updating Windows and Microsoft Store apps, repairing, resetting Copilot in settings, clearing the store cache, simple restart after systems. So I did all this stuff that it was telling me to do. You know what? I actually did not do this one. The in-place upgrade. Yeah, I didn't do that one. And then I asked about optional updates, what it recommended, next step. And then I said, this is getting more complicated. I have a dual boot system. At the moment, I'm booted on the 2024 drive, and Copilot from taskbar works. So it wasn't broken over there. So anyway, it was a long, drawn-out thing. Apparently, it's working now. So stop talking about it, Doug. Bottom line solution there. If you don't get to the solution quickly with AI, stop trying. Another solution for PDF file preview. The issue is caused by Windows Security Update. Yeah, that is the cumulative. Oops, nope, that's not the one. 6835. I'm pretty sure I wrote this one down. 6791. And it was, when you go to uninstall it, it's listed as a security update. But when you go look at history updates, it's cumulative update. To solve this issue, for use, I went to setting apps, advanced. Another solution for PDF file preview. The issue was caused by Windows Security Update 6835. To solve this issue for user, I went into settings, apps, advanced app settings. Oh, I remember coming across something like that and it did not work. So let's go try that. Settings, apps, advanced apps. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Settings, apps, advanced apps, settings. Yes, I went into here. And then what was it? What were we doing here? $6835, I think, is the one that he made reference to. Now, 6835, yeah. Let's go look at update history. Quality updates. Yeah, here's October 6835. Oh, isn't that the one he said? Yeah, 6835. See, you can uninstall it from here. It is the cumulative update. It is not some special update for the apps. But apparently maybe it's listed there because it had an impact on apps. You can just uninstall it through normal uninstall because it is the cumulative update. So down this direction, uninstall updates. Yeah. And it gives you an uninstall button right there. So perhaps it's shown in here because this is an update that had an impact on apps. Maybe not all the cumulative updates show up in here. I don't know. So yeah, that's exactly what I said that I did. I uninstalled the October cumulative update, which is what that is. I found the security update, uninstall it, prompt to restart. Yeah, but it is the cumulative update. All right. I feel like I've covered a lot of ground in 1 hour. If there are any questions that you have seen somebody else post or you have posted that I didn't see because you didn't do the !C, please go ahead and put it in, and I'm going to go to Greg M. Is Greg M in chat? Let's go see if he's chatted recently. Not showing recent. So if I do a Control F, Greg, is it space M? Oh, there's Greg M. Yeah, Greg M's here. Yeah, Greg sent a story. I don't think it's an actual question. Maybe should I do it in, go through it incrementally and see if people want to pitch their answers? I don't quite remember if it's fits for that. Let's see, there's no email address showing. So it looks like I don't have to copy it into Word. Let's see what happens if I zoom in. On a browser, you can zoom in with Control plus, zoom out with Control minus, and then close the navigation bar. This is looking good. Now I got to remind myself about this. Oh my gosh, yes. Now this isn't going to be a quiz type of thing. But I will read through it because I can add the dramatic inflections. You know, Doug likes to do bedtime stories. Am I going to leave my picture-in-picture there? I don't like moving it. Turning it off is better, but I can do expressions. Does that let me even do it from there? Picture-in-picture. Oh, it's locked. All right. So I'm going to try dealing with it that way. Not real happy about doing that because I'm going to forget to use the undo before it forgets what the last thing I did was. I've got that on screen. All right. A bit of a long-winded explanation of what one can experience in this business. I hope you have popcorn. I hope you have a pillow. And I can't do the orange dot because I haven't added that piece of clutterware yet. I have a client who needed a new laptop and a desktop capable of running Windows 11. A little background is needed. This is an older client set in their ways. One of their ways is to have their data on a separate data partition, including documents, downloads, pictures, etc. The folders in Windows are migrated to the other partition using the location tab on the respective folder's properties screen. They have an admin user and a standard user. The latter is where they do most of their work. Okay, I'm with you, Greg. Comprehend all of that just fine. Some people who haven't had experience with a few kind of advanced things in here might not have followed that, but maybe that doesn't matter. And this is probably going to be a story that the more advanced people in the audience are going to commiserate with. I had both laptops here in my office and I logged into the admin account, ran Fab's auto backup from my external USB hard drive, like I have done countless times before with other machines. This process can take an hour or two depending upon the amount of data being backed up. Well, in this case, the backup of their old laptop, which had 1 terabyte drive, took over 4 hours. That got me curious, so I looked at the logs and discovered that the admin account on Windows 10, which they rarely use except to install or update apps, had all of their personal folders, meaning documents, downloads, and more importantly, pictures, pointing to the same folder on the data partition as the standard user. This meant that Fab's auto backup backed up the standard user's data twice. They have probably 60 gigabytes of pictures alone, once for the admin account and once for the standard user account. I went into the old computer, created a new directory on the data partition. He did it on the data partition. I know that. I do it on the data partition. And moved the admin account personal folders over to the other directory. In the process, I told Windows not to move the existing data since all the data belonged to the admin account. I redid Fab's auto backup and it completed within a reasonable amount of time. I then used this fixed or repaired backup to do the restore onto the new laptop. Now, if you thought the fun ended there, you would be wrong. Let's do this scroll. He started the next thought on that line, right? I made an on-site visit, and experience has taught me an on-site visit to this client can be 4 or 5 hours. I know. I have those clients. Everything I touch on their computer gets complicated and doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Yet they keep using me. I've got that happening on clients that don't have unusual, weird configurations like this one does. This visit was to drop off the laptops. Just drop them off. They're already configured, ready to use, plug and play. And their new Windows 11 custom-built desktop system, along with a new 27-inch monitor. I did not realize until I started building their replacement system how antiquated their existing Windows 10 system, the custom-built system was, that I had built them at least 15 years ago, 1.5 decades ago. Because that sounds longer, doesn't it? It was running Windows 10 32-bit operating system on a custom build, since it was probably upgraded from a prior version of Windows, and the system only had 4 gigabytes of RAM. So they've been using Windows 10, 4 gigabytes of RAM, using this data drive setup, which that alone I don't think would be a problem. Most likely a spinning hard drive, right? Well, I started the backup of their old desktop system using Fab's Auto Backup, which was up to date software-wise. So he's using a current version of Fab's Auto Backup. I have to re-up my subscription with them and get the new version. The backup proceeded and I started doing other tasks. After a while, Fabs threw an exception error, something I do not think I have ever seen the software do. The software had locked up, so I had to kill the task off and restarted it. This time I told it to skip existing files that it already had in its backup. This time the backup worked and completed without further errors. Now, wait a minute. This is doing is this kind of, I think maybe he gave us a summary up here of the situation that happened, because he already told us about the backup. And then I think he's giving us a blow by blow when he started the backup to tell us actually what was happening, perhaps. Are we kind of retelling this, going over the same ground? I'm not sure. Next came the restoring of the backup to the new computer. I started Fabs up and selected the standard user as the source profile. When I selected the destination profile for the, when I selected the destination profile for the standard user, I noticed something odd. Instead of having, anyone who's used Fabs should be paying close attention here. Instead of having the new admin account and the standard user account on the new desktop, Fabs also showed another account. This account had the standard user account name plus the name of the computer appended onto the standard user name. Weird. My first thought when I saw that was that it was the computer appended name because Fabs realized there was already a user account there with a conflicting name. Not sure. That weird. That should have alerted me, but being busy, I simply selected that as the destination, or selected as destination the standard user account, one without the computer name appended. I think that would make sense. Now, at that point, what my experience has been restoring to a new computer, I typically have not created that new user account. And so I actually choose an option that says create new user account. So I don't typically see that user account already there. I think that would only happen if you have already created that user account and then you're restoring to that. I don't do that. I will set up the new computer with like an admin account or some generic name, do the Fabs restore operation, and choose the profile I want to restore from. When I go to the target computer, there's an option for new user. I select that and I let Fabs create the new user account. I can't give you the pros and cons for the case, the different ways of doing it. That's just the way I do it. Fabs started the restoration. Now with Fabs,
Read chat, please.
see, Jen's making a comment about 8 gigabytes on Windows 10. Hasn't been enough to run Windows 10 for at least 4 years, let alone 4 gigabytes. Oh, he says 8 gigabytes hasn't been enough to run Windows 10 for at least 4 years, let alone 4 gigabytes. But it works. It works. And depending upon what the person is doing, they might be getting along with it. Now with Fabs, it is common to see perhaps 5 or 6 warning messages in particular regarding restoring Google Chrome data. However, in this case, Fabs started throwing copy errors with every file for Chrome restoration. I initially thought perhaps it was because the old computer was running a 32-bit operating system. Reasonable suspicion, I have no idea. But then the same errors also occurred with Microsoft Edge data restoration. That is when I said, okay, there's really something wrong here, and I stopped the restoration. I went and looked in the users, C:\users folder on the new computer and discovered that there were 4 directories there. 1 public, 1 admin, and 2 involving the standard user. I'm guessing involving because the name that he wanted to use for the standard user and the other one that appended the computer name. 1 folder had the normal standard user account name, and the second folder had the standard user account name appended with the computer name. Doug, didn't you already know that? You've already read through this? Yeah, I read through this, a couple days ago? A few days ago? It seems that the standard user account on Windows 11 25H2, instead of using the folder in C:\user with the standard username, was instead assigned standard username with the computer name appended to it. Again, I think that happened because you already had an account on that computer using that name. That's my guess. The copy errors from Fabs was because it was restoring files to a folder that was not assigned to a user account. The copy errors from Fabs was because it was restoring files to a folder that was not assigned to a user account. To rectify it, I removed the standard user account and made sure both of those folders were no longer under C:\users, then recreated the standard user from scratch and started Fabs restoration again. So you created the standard user yourself. I would let Fabs do that. When you let Fabs create the user account, there's a checkbox to make it an admin account. If you don't do that checkbox, obviously it's going to be a standard account. So I'd rather let Fabs create that. I don't have any experience creating the user account before doing the fabs restoration for a new computer. This time the restore completed without any issue. Now that might have been, maybe you never logged in with that new user account. And so that's why it worked this time, because it sounds like you did the same procedure that you had previously. During all of this, now this was in your lab. All of this work was in your lab. You had mentioned about how long that it took on site. You weren't doing this on site. This was in the lab. So we have a little bit of interwoven story here. Well, I think all of the stories at the lab, but the comment about the house, I don't think he told us why that took so long. During all of this, or is it? During all of this, their fiber internet connection went down yet again, so I had to help with that. Were you doing all that fab stuff on site when you previously had both computers in your possession?
Read chat, please.
He's giving some answers here. The ISP is sending out a tech the next day with a new modem. It was 8 hours on the site visit. I was glad to get home from. I know that feeling, being glad to get home from that. I was on site for the restoration and duplicate user accounts. Why didn't you do that in your lab? Laptop was in the lab. Desktop on site. Oh, Rand saying that. Oh, he says correct. Oh, so the laptop was in the lab. Desktop on site. Yeah. What I do in a scenario where I'm going to want to do a fabs restore installed at the customer site is sometimes, depending upon circumstances, I'll take it over and plug it into the network without a keyboard mouse monitor attached. And then I'll come back. I'll come back to my lab and I'll connect to both their computers remotely, do the backup, copy through their network, do the restore operation, do all that remotely, test the operation on new computer to be sure everything's running all right. So if I don't want to have both computers in my lab and doing all that work here, sometimes it's better to do, especially when there's a server involved or a NAS involved, which could be the case here. I don't know. Local network printers involved, or even network devices connected, such as or local devices connected, such as a printer. You might want to have all that. You might want to have the computer in its environment for doing the final restore and configuration. Okay, so I think there's some things for me to respond to, but let's get Greg M some points for giving us you spent a lot of time on that story. So we're going to do that a couple times. See, I can actually do this different. I can come over to the beginning here. I think I can type like 3,000. So that's going to be a total like 4,000 points. And you hit this button, and I think that's going to get you 3,000 points. Yep. All right. Thank you, Greg. Oh, boy, I feel drained just reading that. Which means time is time for coffee. Doug version of coffee. Yeah, Greg says his on-site visits are usually not that long. Yeah, they can really drain you. Take the next day off. Now, what's that going to do for the profits? I'm going to go check and see if there was some read chats. I'm pretty sure there was some read chats. I'm going to go up, arrow. Laptop was in the lab. Desktop was on site, if I understand correctly, and Greg confirms that. I don't even remember right now what the laptop work was about. The 8 gigabyte comment. And we talked about that. So I think I'm all caught up with read chats. The comment with the SSD just reminded me of a conversation with another client. Well, as long as there's an SSD, it's fine. This client is a heavy Dragon Naturally Speaking user. I have two very heavy Dragon Naturally Speaking users. One's an attorney, that's the one this story is about, and the other is a chiropractor. And they're both very, very happy with the product. Very rarely call me with any questions or issues. And I've watched them both dictate, particularly the chiropractor. It is stunning. All these big words that come from, skeletal system and muscular system. And it's not a special version of Dragon Naturally Speaking. It's just the regular version. Did not have to do much training on it whatsoever. Just does all these big, long, crazy words just fine. Anyway, the attorney, he's brought up the subject of a new computer. He has works from a laptop. It's already a Windows 11 laptop. And he's asking about upgrading it. So we talked about it, and it does seem plausible. It's an 8th gen. When he bought it, it was about the most expensive Dell laptop he could find. And he figured buying high end is going to be, it's going to really have him in shape. And then through the conversation, I didn't, really hit him with this in the face. But through the conversation, he came to realize that laptop was no longer anything special after about 2 years. So I talked with him about the new laptops and what the advances that 11th gen, 12th gen, or is it 12th and 13th, particularly two of those gens, I think it was, made such huge leaps forward in the operations per second.
Read chat, please.
I said they're a lot better now. You don't have to buy the top end computer. You can buy a little bit below the top, and it's going to be really good for you. That last reach out was 7 years is a long time for a laptop from Jim. Yeah. But he has no complaints. It's working fine for him. He doesn't have any pain points in regards to the laptop's performance. It was the highest processor, the highest memory. I think actually he bought it with the highest memory he could order with, and then he ordered extra memory. I think it's 32 gigabytes of RAM. If I'm wrong about that, then it's 64, but I'm pretty sure the highest he could buy it was 16, and he bought the extra modules to upgrade it because they had 2 extra slots. Well, I don't know. We might have had to replace his existing memory, whatever. Anyway, it came with the largest drive that was available at the time. So I brought up the subject of these off-brand laptops, off-brand computers that would cost a lot less money, and you can get high-end laptops. And so we're going down that road now. He's always been of the mind that he needs as much memory as possible because of Dragon Naturally Speaking. But I'm not so sure that's true anymore because of the speed of the newer NVMe drives. I'm not sure how much that's true anymore. Windows will not use all of your memory. If you add more memory, it's going to use a higher amount of memory, but not necessarily a higher percentage of memory. And because of the speed of today's drives, it might not feel any faster to you. Because what is happening in that memory that you are actually using right now? So to be able to store a lot more stuff in memory and not swap it out to virtual memory, that's not nearly as advantageous these days as it used to be when we were dealing with spinning drives. So he's got this mindset of get the most amount of memory that you can. And I'm not sure that's true anymore. I did a very initial brief search and found some agreement with what I was saying, but that was through AI, and AI is oftentimes going to try to agree with you. Not always, sometimes. Oh, let's see oh yeah, we did see that. On-site for restoration and duplicate. Yeah, we did see that. So that was just another interesting conversation recently. It's not helpful, Doug. 32 gigabytes of memory is all you need. I got 64 gig of memory. Actually, I had 16. Now, I have Big Beast Build right now. I'm on 128 gigabytes of memory. I have OBS running. I am live streaming. I have Google Chrome with a lot of tabs open. I have Microsoft Edge with a lot of tabs open. I have SpeakerBot. I have StreamerBot. There's probably other things that I have running in the background. So how much memory do you think Big Beast Build is using right now? Let's go have a look. Right click on the taskbar. I was contemplating asking this client to watch his memory utilization while he's using Dragon. Task Manager. Drag it over. You'll have to drag it over to your first screen. If it shows up on your second, you'll have to drag it. No, you can look at it on any screen. Click on this Performance tab. Click on Memory. So I am currently using 25 gigabytes of memory. Now, I've read this stuff before. It doesn't stick for me in my head. Cached memory and committed memory, but I'm seeing this as I'm not using much of that memory. Now, if I were to go down to 32 gigabytes of memory, would it still be using 25? My understanding, I have not proven this with testing, my understanding is no. If I trim this down to 32 gigabytes of memory, I'm still above the 25, but Windows still wants to keep some overhead, some free memory overhead. So it's going to offload more content to virtual memory to get that number down, but I'm probably not going to notice any difference in performance. Again, I haven't proven that, just my suspicion. That last read chat. Did you find an answer about my monitors? Were you not? Oh, we did a search. Thank you. Thank you.
Read chat, please.
You know what? I need to give you some points for bringing the subject. And I know that I'm not being perfect about points. Please ask or tell me that I didn't give somebody points that I should have. You could drop to 64 gigabytes and likely not notice a thing. Yeah, if I go down to 64 gigabytes, I'd be curious. Maybe it'll stay at 25. Because maybe at 64 or 138, 36, 128. What? I have 128 gigabytes. Right here it says 136. Yeah. There's weird things they do with these calculations. I don't really care to know it now. If you give me links, I know I'm not going to have time to go look at that today. But anyway, if I go down to 64, it still might be showing 25. But if I go down to 32, I don't think it will. Virtual machines. Been there, done that, not interested. Yeah, so it was a 124 thing versus 1000. I don't know.
Read chat, please.
I feel like I missed a read chat. Oh, yeah, I did see that. At 64 gigabytes, your system won't run the memory in quad channel mode, and that you will notice, unless I bought new memory. If I bought 4 16s, then I would get quad. But if I went down to 64 gigabytes just by removing 2 of my 32 gigabyte memory boards, then yeah, that would be right. But I've never actually experienced it. I've never tested it. I've never tried to feel the difference. I feel the difference. I know you do, my son. Hello, Sam Lazar. No, I'm not considering that. I don't have enough pain in that arena to do that. At least I don't
Read
think I
chat,
did.
please.
Yes, you did. We covered this in a past stream. Well, I know that I think I had non-quad channel mode for a period of time. So I think I did experience non-quad channel mode, but I don't think I paid enough attention to feel the difference. Are you certain that I said that I felt the difference in performance? What do you mean, yes, I did? Does that just mean, yes, I was operating non-quad, or that I acknowledged the difference? He says yes. Really? Have I not responded to this kind of thing often? Do you want to turn left or right? Yes. I sometimes over dramatize reactions, so just to have fun with it. You said you noticed a difference. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to apologize to you for my for my overreacting. What was that actor that was, somebody accused him of overreacting? He said, "Oh no, they're on to me." Jim Carrey. I got it before you told me. Okay, I'm gonna give you a good healthy number for that. 1 rand. If I said I noticed a difference and I don't remember that I noticed a difference, does it count? It's kind of like saying if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, does it actually make a sound? Apologies, Douglas. Okay, Mom. I will use more words in the future, much more. Oh, I like that. You know what? You people probably, well, that sounds a little condescending. You, my lovable, loyal audience. If I catch you using lots of words, I'm probably going to hit you with some points. Because that is so kind. You know, Brian's here. Oh no. Freudian slip. When somebody says something that they don't mean to say it that way, but somehow on some psychological level, they think that. I don't want to believe that. Okay, sometimes I highlight somebody's comment and don't read it, and that's because I realize that it's a conversation going on between other people, and oftentimes I don't even comprehend or read it. Doug, why are you scrolling like that? You know you don't like doing that. Tim Cruz, I don't recall anything that I need to give you points for. You keep trying to draw me off into cell phones. Not interested. It's not what my channel's about. I know I've done that on occasion, but I'm trying to get better about focusing the things that I cover to my desired target audience. Among the how to build a YouTube channel gurus, they say create videos for your audience, what your audience wants to see. And I disagree with that. I think, and I'm tending, and I'm trying to create videos for the audience I want to have. Many of you are that, but some of you aren't, and you might not like some of the changes coming down the road for me. But I want to be focusing my channel on content that would be particularly attractive to Windows support technicians, professional, and, well, whether they're paid in money or paid in appreciation. That's a different way of saying professional and amateur, just because I feel a little bit of how that word amateur just bothers me a little bit, because some of you are very, very, very competent Windows support technicians, yet you aren't charging money, but yet the word amateur doesn't sufficiently describe your skills and knowledge. But those are that's what my intended target audience is. So that's why you see me start off right off the bat with some topic that I think would be of interest to that type of person. I don't start off anymore with,
Read chat, please.
hey, it's Saturday morning. Welcome to the weekly live stream or whatever. Oh, did you come across this issue? Right click, Doug, right click, and then choose new tab. Excuse me for a moment while I look at something. Okay. Windows 11, 7036. That's not either of the KB numbers on my mind. Task Manager won't close and duplicates may hurt performance. I saw that on a YouTube video this morning while I was getting ready for the show. Oh, look at that. Carrie's going to go live. All right. Let's go set up a redirect for that. He might not be listening anymore if he's getting ready for his show. Let's see. That was, you're going to tell me who that was, aren't you? Oh, the deep research. God, thank you. I already tried to go back to that once. I know his name, but anyway, here, it's got to be right here. Brightech. I saw a video from him this morning about this issue. I have not seen it, and I suspect I
read chat, please.
I skipped through his video, and I don't think he really gave any solution. I think he was just telling us about the problem. Unique to 25H2, says Selden Ball, and I'm not on that yet. So, no, I haven't seen it. And from one thing he said, that if you don't go look, you won't know that you have that problem. I thought he kind of over dramatized the severity of the issue. Okay, we gotta get to that Gemini. Saw that. Jiminy Christmas. Gemini Christmas. All right, here we go. So I find it sometimes a little bit weird with its layout. If I ask it a follow-up question, it's just, sometimes I can't get to the answer, but here is its response. It went through all of its thinking and stuff. We no longer see its thinking. This is its response. Scrolling down, and it tends to get lengthy. And this is all the websites that it used as sources. Some of the AIs, when you ask them to explore the internet, they say, I can't access the internet. Okay, now because I remember it, I'm going to come over here to OBS and I'm going to do Control Z. See if my picture-in-picture, boom, goes right back to the same spot. Because I remembered, sort of. Now, let's go. See, I don't, there's the scroll bar. Drag it all the way up. I don't get to see that scroll bar until I move the mouse over there. Remember in a previous instance, let's wait for that scroll box to disappear. In a previous instance, we saw the scroll box would appear when I moved the mouse. And a moment ago, I didn't see it until I moved my mouse over to that side. Anyway, expert guidance. Introduction, dual nature of Windows display settings. I'm going to look at this at a high level context. They talk about user context, system context. Yeah, so the system elements get loaded before you're at that splash screen. Some of the user context may already be present. I'm not certain about that, but I've come across hints of that. The problem of persistent misalignment, the implicit system dependency chain, pre-modification safety protocol and administrative prerequisites. Okay, like before you can make modifications, you have to have elevated privileges, probably have admin rights, Windows display topology and graphics driver persistence architecture. Interpreting monitor identification subkeys. So now we're going in to the registry. You have a primary surface size, CX, CY. So X would be the horizontal, Y would be the vertical. Attach relative X, attach relative Y. The complexity of primary display definition, the indirect solution, mandatory cache clearance, and controlled re-enumeration. I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats hoping that I'm going to read this out word for word. Technical rationale for cache deletion, step-by-step procedure, post-deletion protocol, post-modification, verification, advanced troubleshooting. Anytime your clients are asking, that didn't seem very hard to fix, come and ask Gemini to give you a deep research on the subject, and then tell them, I got to know all of this stuff. Post-modification, verification, advanced troubleshooting, hardware and driver dependencies. Are we coming to a solution? He wants to see the lock screen on one particular screen rather than the other. Conclusions. The analysis confirms that the issue of an incorrectly assigned Windows lock screen display is fundamentally an architectural flaw rooted in the graphics driver's persistent configuration cache, not a user-level setting. The solution cannot be achieved through a simple direct registry value edit. Well, thank you for a direct, simple answer. You got to learn when not to read through all this stuff. Primary recommendation, the most reliable and tested procedure for resolving misaligned login UI displays is the combination of mandatory cache clearance and controlled hardware re-enumeration. This procedure involving the deletion of the configuration, connectivity, scale factors subkeys under this registry key, followed by a carefully controlled physical connection sequence, forces Windows to recognize the desired monitor as the sole primary display. So what they're describing here is a solution that involves the registry, but not just what they referred to up here as a cannot be a simple direct registry value. Can't be a simple one. But yeah, you delete these, and that is deleting the registry keys where Windows remembers these monitors. So once you delete those registry keys, then restart the computer with only one monitor connected, is what they're telling us here, followed by a carefully controlled physical connection sequence. Forces Windows to recognize a desired monitor as a sole primary display during system initialization. So after deleting those keys, next time you restart the computer, it's going to recreate those keys and understanding through which monitor you have connected that that one's supposed to be the primary, if I'm understanding this right, and if this AI came up with the correct answer. It could be wrong. But this is feeling kind of promising to me. Secondary recommendations for persistence issues. If the configuration reverts after the initial fix, the problem lies with ghost device retention or recurrent driver system intervention. In such cases, administrators should execute a thorough cleanup of non-present devices via Device Manager, review connection technology favoring DisplayPort or HDMI. Oh yes, this is something I have seen where a computer seems to favor DisplayPort, and if you have both connected, if you have a DisplayPort and an HDMI, it will always go to this DisplayPort first, or maybe it's that it always goes to HDMI first, but I think it's DisplayPort. I have also seen, I'm certain that this is true, that I have come across a computer where I could not access BIOS through either port. Meaning if I had a monitor connected to, I don't know which way it was. If I had a monitor connected to DisplayPort, I could get into BIOS, shut the computer down, disconnect that, connect the HDMI, turn the computer on. I can't get into BIOS. I don't get the startup screens. Pressing the keys on the keyboard, I don't see nothing. Nothing. It's not that it skips past it. Well, it sort of skips past it. Well, actually, no, what was happening is I would hit the key on the keyboard and it would go into BIOS, but I couldn't see it on that screen. It wasn't until I disconnected HDMI and connected DisplayPort, then I could see, yes, I'm in the BIOS screen. So that's a thing. If you find that you're hitting the key to get into BIOS and you got a black screen, try connecting through a different monitor port. You might find the output is going through that other port exclusively for BIOS. Unresearched, but I'm absolutely insistent. I did have that experience. If all menu methods fail, implement an automated elevated PowerShell script to enforce the correct registry configuration. Now, is this one of the AIs that I can share a link? I don't think it is. Because that was a lot of crap. Now, see, I don't have a scroll bar. I don't have a scroll box. I'm trying to get back to the top. Oh, I'm at the top. Content. Oh, share and export. Export to docs, copy contents. No share button. Can't share from workspace accounts. Oh, because I have a Google Workspace account. And this is a Google system. I don't even see my original prompt here. Here's my original prompt. So what happens if you do that in another AI? Let's try Google AI Studio.
Your read chat, please.
Paste that, because you'll get simpler, easier responses. Okay, so this one says, no, I can't do that. Incorrectly modifying registry. I can't do that. It's unethical for me to tell you how to edit a registry. What was that last read chat? 7036 Zavi is saying, I'm assuming that has to do with the PDF issue. I'm almost into overtime. Again, I noticed that within 1 minute. I had to uninstall 7036. Oh, yeah, that was it. That was the cumulative. No computers and my NAS were shown anymore in network. Are you using no password? Oh, wait a minute. Was that the issue that I had? No. The client that was having that problem, the fix for that, I told you at the beginning of today's show. Zavi, are you referring to the PDF issue or are you referring to not being able to log into your other computers? Oh, that was a duplicate SID is when I was having that problem. Well, you're not having a duplicate SID issue with a NAS. 7036. Yeah, I had to uninstall that for client for the PDF issue. Now, are you saying after uninstalling it, you no longer have those network devices? Andy says, I do indeed have DisplayPort and HDMI monitor, and the former does show the lock screen. The DisplayPort monitor shows the lock screen. Okay, your other monitor, does it have the capability of using DisplayPort? Most monitors have multiple connections on the back. It might be the case that you're using both of those cables because your computer has an HDMI port and a display port, and you have those connected to your monitors. But if your monitors both have HDMI and display port, can you connect the display port to the other monitor and get this behavior to swap? Because it could be that that's what's going on, that your computer is recognizing one monitor as the one that the lock screen should show up on. Okay, I wanted to get over here. Yeah, I know I'm going in overtime. Get over it. Let's see, I'm going to pop that and then come over here and then try this is ignore that
Recheck.
Google AI Studio over there. That's just the browser portion of Edge. I'm just dealing with Copilot here and going to new conversation and paste that question. So other AIs will give you maybe the same solution faster. I'm not certain that those are the same things, but I'll give you that exact text in the description of this video. I'll paste it here that you can simply copy and paste it. AI prompt used near end of show. Why do you bother with the caps key, Doug? I don't know. Get over it. And then before I save that, I'm going to go to customization. We'll do a redirect to Carrie's show. Ah, there it is. And then we'll go get those rechats. Zvi, I had to uninstall it to get it back. No password to the users. And the sharing is for everyone group. get it back. I think he means the PDF preview capability. He had to uninstall it, meaning that cumulative update, to get it, meaning the PDF preview, back. See, I just gave you an example of what more words would have meant in that sentence. You're welcome, Andy. I think it's time to shut down. Let's see. I don't remember if I've given Zvi some points today. He certainly has been very active and participatory.
Read chat, please.
No PDF. It is another problem. So it's not the PDF issue. It's some other problem. Is it the part about not being able to log in? That was an issue that Kerry demonstrated. He's made a special video for that about configurations to do, enabling the guest account, enabling insecure connections, stuff along those lines. If you want to be able to connect to a NAS without having a password. See if I can find that. I'm not going to try to replicate that. Let's see. Why did this go? Oh, it says Carrie show. Oh, Cyber CPU. Oh, they're doing a collab. Cool. But I want to get to try to show you where that video is that he did for that subject, and then I'm going to get out of here. Let's see. I think he made a special video for it. I hope I'm right about this. NAS, no password. Two months ago, non-compatible drive. No, that was similar to that, but it wasn't that.
Read chat, please.
SMB signing issue. Yeah, I think it was called that. I don't know how he labeled that. Network path was not found 2 months ago. Fix. Network path is not found. Might have been that. I'll do ask and summarize the video to get an AI summary. Network discovery, private file and share, password protected. Group policy editor.
Read chat, please.
Digitally signed communications. Disable network client, digitally sign. Enable insecure. Yeah, this is it. So this is the one you want.
Read chat, please.
6-minute video. I'll give you a link to it here. And put that in chat. And I know there's two read chat pleases. Okay, we'll just put it there, and then we got to shut down. Jim's link and SMB signing issue. That problem was in the past. I fixed it now. 7036 is a new preview Windows 11. All right. I'm not going to try to catch up with what you're talking about there. And I'll just open that so I can look at that later. And let's get out of here. It's time to leave. It's time to exit the bus, disembark from the airplane, get off the ship. There's the email address if you want to send a question or a story. And other than that, have a great weekend, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.
That's all, folks. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply more deeply VB, where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme.